Thanks, Concorda. First of all, I want to congratulate Deputy Troy and his better half during the summer. Congratulations. Tánaiste, it's Trust Tánaiste, Minister for Enterprise and Trade and Employment, if he is satisfied that Irish food export companies are fully prepared for the changes proposed. And I know that this has changed over the last couple of days as part of the post-Brexit process, specifically in relation to products of animal origin which are due to be introduced on the 1st of October 2021. The steps taken by him to assist Irish food export companies which will be impacted by changes, and if his department has engaged with Enterprise Ireland in relation to this issue, and if he will make a statement on the matter. And as I say, I know that things have changed. We put this in a week ago. Thank you.
Thanks, Deputy, and I appreciate that announcement was only in the last couple of days and came after you submitted your question. As Tánaiste, I can assure the Deputy that the Government is very aware of the challenges that Brexit brings for exporters, in particular for business and the agri-food sector. We continue to work very closely with the sector to mitigate the negative impacts of the new trading arrangements to operationalise the new EU-UK Trade and Cooperation Agreement, or TCA. We're continuing to engage with our EU and UK colleagues on the introduction of further administrative requirements for trade. Last week I met with UK Cabinet Minister Michael Gove MP as part of Enterprise Ireland's trade mission, and I discussed the additional measures proposed by the United Kingdom. Since then, the United Kingdom Government has announced an extension to the current grace periods beyond the 1st of October, and it seems at least until the end of the year. The agri-food sector is a major contributor to the Irish economy, particularly our rural economy, and any further regulatory requirements and checks will present additional challenges and costs for them. We're committed to ensuring that Irish food exporters fully understand any potential new UK import requirements and ensure that everyone in the supply chain is as prepared as possible. But being fully prepared is not the same as saying there won't be problems. Of course there will if there are new rules, regulations, forms to fill in and checks. With this in mind, there is ongoing cross-departmental engagement involving my department and Enterprise Ireland to put in place a whole range of financial and advisory assistance to help our businesses to prepare for this new environment. And my colleague, the Minister for Agriculture, is leading on sector preparedness, and his department and its UK equivalent, DEFRA, the Department of Food and Rural Affairs, are engaging on a range of measures in place and proposed. The department has also run joint webinars with DEFRA on UK import controls. In a recent survey undertaken by Bord Bia, over 80% of Irish companies reported that they were ready for the new procedures proposed for imports into Great Britain on products of animal origin. They were planned for October. So I suppose 80% saying they're prepared, 20% maybe not. While the UK has announced the extension of grace periods, I'm confident that solutions do exist within the parameters of the protocol to deal with issues that have arisen to date. And the EU has time and time again demonstrated a considered, credible, solution-driven approach to these issues, and will continue to encourage the UK Government to be similarly constructive in their approach.
Thank you, Tánaiste. I'm on the Agricultural Committee, and in fairness, Deputy Cahill has brought it up as well, that we're going looking into it over in one of the meetings. But the one thing I would say to you, Tánaiste, is that if it had gone ahead on the food side of it especially, I think it is unknown the amount of VITs we'd need that had to sign off stuff. And my understanding from the Department of Agriculture that they expected people to have stuff ready from basically 8 to 5, where a lot of those companies might be working 6 days a week, wouldn't have storage place. And I think this is where Enterprise Ireland and indeed your department needs to come in on it. They wouldn't have the storage place to store some of the foods that they're exporting. And there wasn't a willingness, whether someone knew something or not, up to the last week for enough of VITs to be on stream. Now, in fairness, you need an awful lot of VITs, and that's why I'm saying and asking you, would you be able to take work with the Department of Agriculture? Would your department be able to take an interest and to make sure Enterprise Ireland gets involved in this and teases out the problems? Because whether it's tomorrow or a year's time, it's going to come down the road sooner or later.
Thanks, Deputy. I suppose in an ideal world, we'd like to see a closer relationship between the EU and the UK. Not sure if that's possible for the foreseeable future, but anything that would align our standards, a veterinary agreement, a food standards agreement, would dramatically reduce the amount of checks and controls that would be necessary and would be very beneficial to our farmers and our exporters. On the issue of vets, that's obviously a matter for the Department of Agriculture, but we do talk about these things, and they do say that they would have had enough people available. They would have had to use other staff, contractors and so on, but they say they were prepared for that. On the issue of storage, I'll have to look into that and give this some consideration. Hasn't crossed my desk yet, but I can see why storage and stockpiling would be advisable whenever these new checks and controls come into place. We also have a 24-hour in-person support in place at Dublin Port to deal with any issues, ready for customs grants to help people scale up their in-house activity, webinars, online guidance, and also obviously we continue to meet with stakeholders regularly and listen and engage through the Brexit Business Forum.
Minister, I welcome your response. The one thing I would say that Enterprise Ireland or your department needs to hone in on the storage part, because my understanding from the visionary side of it is that for 8 or 9 hours, yes, a vis may be possible, but if you have a small company in this country that doesn't have the storage and the lorries are going every 3 or 4 or 5 hours for 6 days a week, and then basically Sunday they're not going, they don't have the facilities to, if they have in the storage obviously, to make sure that when the VIS is there, that this can be signed off. And I think it's imperative of us now, when we have sort of a lead into it, and hopefully, as you say, that regularisation will happen between the two countries, or between the EU and the UK in relation to agreeing food policy or whatever, that we would be able to work on this. But I think it's important that Enterprise Ireland, because what I'm hearing about Enterprise Ireland, they're not that awful involved in it so far, and they need to get stuck in with problems like that, and you might take note of the storage part to help businesses out. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Deputy. I hear what you're saying, and I'll definitely look into the issue of storage. I'm not sure whether it's for Enterprise Ireland or for Customs or for Agriculture to take the lead on that, but it's all the government, and I'll make some inquiries about it.